This video was only supposed to be the Kyoshi stuff, but Netflix just interrupted all of my plans by dropping this banger of a promo. This is the craziest promo we have gotten so far. We are going to be breaking down this entire promo along with all the Kyoshi stuff I mentioned earlier, but before we get into that, I would like to announce a couple of things briefly. Firstly, Netflix has invited me to the world premiere of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that means your boy is going on the red carpet. I'm super nervous about all of this, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so you already know I'm going. If you guys want to see updates regarding this event, go follow my Twitter account because I'm going to be posting whatever I'm allowed to. Unfortunately, I didn't receive a +1, so it might be a little hard for me to take pictures of all the red carpet stuff, but I will try my best, so go follow my Twitter for all of that. As for the new promo we got, it's only 14 seconds long, but oh my god, did they reveal so much information, so let's go over it. I am legitimately more excited to talk about this teaser than the 4-minute behind the scenes video we got last week, which, you know what, let's just go ahead and break it down. The clip starts off with Zuko firebending, and immediately this guy in a robe gets hit. Now, at first, I was thinking, this is the guy who captured Iroh, and that's why Zuko is firebending at him, but if you take a closer look, the guy actually gets hit with water. These two scenes are not related. That means this mysterious robe-looking guy is fighting someone else. Since he's getting hit by water, I'm just gonna assume that he's fighting Team Avatar. As for who this is, I'm not really sure. I saw a lot of people online thinking that this could be Zhong, and they just kept his casting a secret. I mean, that would be really cool, but I don't know, man. Why would the gang be fighting him? Who do you guys think this is? Next, we have a clip of Aang doing a backflip followed by some air nomads fighting. Now, these are master airbenders. You can tell by the tattoos on their head. This is definitely them fighting firebenders during Sozin's Comet. I cannot wait to see the whole Sozin's Comet thing. I heard it's a little disturbing from people who've seen it already. They say it feels just a little too real, which I like that. I'm excited to see it. After this, we get our official first look at Avatar Kyoshi, and yes, it is a little blurry, but that is her. What's most interesting about this is Kyoshi is in an entirely different location than the last time we quote-unquote saw her. In the behind the scenes video and along with the trailers, someone comes down from the sky and knocks over all of Zhao's army. Now, when this was in the trailers, we had to take a guess that this was Avatar Kyoshi because the outfit wasn't bright like Aang's, but the clip cut just a little too soon to know for sure. But now, in this behind the scenes video, they actually let the clip play out for a couple seconds longer, and you can clearly see green armor here, which means this has to be Avatar Kyoshi. So what do I think's going on here, and why is Kyoshi in the Avatar state in two different locations? Is it a flashback, or is it something else? Here is my best guess about the whole situation. When Aang first looks at the statue of Kyoshi, he establishes a connection to Avatar Kyoshi, but he doesn't fully meet her yet. Later, the village is getting attacked, but not only by Zhao's army, but Zuko as well. Aang knows that Team Avatar probably can't do this without some major help. Kyoshi village is getting burned down, and they are losing this battle. So Aang runs away, which is why the mirror is screaming, "Where is the Avatar?" in this clip. Aang goes and he meditates and he meets Avatar Kyoshi for the first time. And Kyoshi basically does what Roku does in the winter solstice. Kyoshi takes over his body in this scene right here, then rushes to the battlefield and wipes out most of the army. I think all of this is extremely likely to happen, maybe not in that exact order, but it makes sense. One thing I want to nitpick just a little bit, and it's by no means a big deal at all, but I always like how when Roku took over Aang's body, he looked kind of spirity. When everybody saw Roku, they knew that was a ghost, and he came back just to fight them, which again is a very small nitpick and by no means a big deal. Honestly, I'm just so excited that we're finally getting more Kyoshi. With this whole statue thing, her in two different locations, it really feels like we're going to be getting a lot of her in this episode. Here we have either Sokka getting jumped by the Kyoshi warriors or maybe saved by them. I don't know if they're doing that whole thing where the Kyoshi warriors capture the group. I don't think they're gonna do that, but who knows. Suki's mom is just going off with these fans, and that is a ton of fire right there. It looks like the Fire Nation is about to be even stronger in this version than in the cartoon, which I didn't even think was possible. Here is some more Zuko firebending. The key thing here is hearing Zuko scream when he firebends, just like he did in the cartoon before he learned the proper way to firebend. Really nice attention to detail here. Now this one right here is crazy. Here we get a better look at the Agni Kai between Ozai and Zuko. This is different. In the cartoon, Zuko begged for forgiveness and chose not to fight his father, and that was ultimately the reason why Ozai decided to burn him and banish him. In this version, he seems to be dodging all of Ozai's attacks and potentially fighting back. I am so curious to see how this is gonna play out. I could see Zuko dodging all of the attacks at first, and then the realization sets in and he's like, I don't want to duel my father. So he kneels down and he begs for forgiveness, and that's when Ozai burns him. If it goes like that, that would probably hit just as hard as the original, but again, I don't think I'd mind something radically different even, because I don't want a shot-for-shot remake of the original. I know a lot of people seem to want that, but I don't. I've seen the original so many different times now, it's like, it's getting kind of old, right? So if they do something radically different with this, I'm happy. Except for season 2 and 3, I kind of want those to stay close to the same. Here we have more scenes of Bumi and Aang. I'm going to take this time to ask Netflix to please add some camera shake to the earthbending. They are moving these giant rocks, but I don't know, man, it doesn't feel all that powerful. I was thinking about this, like, what is it missing? So I went back and watched the cartoon scenes of them earthbending, and basically every time they would lift a giant rock out of the ground, the screen would shake almost like an earthquake. This is such a simple fix, I could probably do it myself, and honestly, it's not that big of a deal because I don't think the general audience would even care about this, but to me personally, I think it would add to the immersion. But what do I know? There's probably a reason they didn't add this. I mean, the showrunners probably know more than I do. Monk Gyatso is going ballistic with this staff. I'm so happy that we're gonna get a scene of Monk Gyatso beating up some Fire Nation soldiers. I was really hoping we were gonna get scenes of him beating people up and not just Sozin killing him, so I'm happy with this. Here we have Zuko using his staff as well, which is interesting. This seems to be the same market scene he meets Aang at, so maybe they have a brief battle in Omashu. Man, Omashu seems kind of crazy. Like this episode, you have Aang versus Bumi, you have the Mechanist and Tio, you have Zuko and Aang fighting too. Like, how are they gonna pull off all of this in a 1 hour episode? Maybe it's a 2 episode type thing, which would make more sense because that is just so many things to happen. And this part right here, I'm not sure if this is just fancy editing and the editor is just taking a page out of my thumbnail book, or if Aang is actually just entering the Avatar state in this scene. It doesn't seem like a dire circumstance where he needs the Avatar state's power, so I'm gonna assume it's just fancy editing, but it looks awesome either way. There was also another Zuko clip released today. Now, I'm not gonna go scene for scene in this little clip right here. I'm just gonna go over what I find interesting. Netflix seems to be hammering in this whole Zuko daily diary type thing going on here. It's in 2 different clips now. He's writing about the Avatar in what looks to be like a journal. I guess Zuko has a diary in this version. You can see on Zuko's shelf here that he has a bunch of statues of past avatars in his room, and their eyes randomly start glowing. I'm assuming this is how he knows Aang is back. He sees these mini statues glowing, so he runs outside and he sees that giant beam of light. Now, what's interesting about this is that you see all of the common avatars here, like Kyoshi, Korok, Yang Chan, but who is this? Is that Zuno from Dragon Ball?